Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be creating this beautiful denim jumpsuit. So this is going to be a very exceptional video because I haven't made anything like this before, so this is going to be my first time, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video because I actually enjoyed making it. Now this denim fabric, this is 2 yards and 10 inches. I mean, that's what I could find and that's what you're going to be working with. So using your pattern paper, first of all, you're going to rule out a line in this manner. First of all, you're going to always be doing this because you need to have a starting point. Now you're going to be going in with your vertical measurement first before the horizontal measurement. So the first thing I'm going to be measuring out here is to mark from the shoulder to the bust point. And for me, I have 10 inches. So that's what I'm marking now. So also go ahead and mark that out on your own paper. Move it over to the other side and mark it. All right. Then the next thing you're going to be doing is to mark your shoulder to your waist point. So for my shoulder to my waist point, that's 16 inches, and that's what I'm marking out. Now you're also going to be marking out from that point to your hip point also. So for me, I have 25 inches. So now once you're done marking this out, go ahead and use your ruler and then connect these lines together. Next, we're going to be leveling these lines so we'll not mix it up. So first of all, this is our bust point, our waist point, and also this is our hip point. So just measure this out. Oh, sorry, I'm going to be using a marker to do this later on so you guys can see this properly and very well. Now at the edge, mark in 2 inches in front. Now this 2 inches is what we're going to be using as the path that we're going to be inserting our buttons and the buttonhole. Okay, so we're going to mark that line on the hip, on the waist, and also on the bust line directly to where you have the neckline. Then you're going to draw the lines and then connect those different dots together. Next, fold the 2 inches line inwards. We're not going to be using this particular part. All right, this is what we're going to be using to insert our buttons and the buttonhole, so we don't really need it at this point. The next thing to do is to mark out the neckline. So on the neckline, you're going to be taking 3 inches and also 3 inches below. So after doing that, draw and then connect the lines together. The next thing is for us to mark out our shoulder slope, all right, or the shoulder measurement. Now divide your shoulder measurement by 2 and then mark it out there. The next thing, on that point, come down by 1 inch and then also mark it down, which will now cause or form the shoulder slope. So connect that line back to the neck region. The next thing that we're going to do after that is for you to come down to the bust region and then divide your measurement, your bust measurement by 4. Whatever it is you have there, mark it down. Move down to the waistline, do the same thing. Divide your measurement by 4, mark it down. And also move down to your hip, divide the measurement that you have for your hip measurements by 4 and also mark it down. Now use your ruler to connect this together. Now come over to where you have the bust point, where you mark that bust point, and then go up by 1 inch. Now at that on that 1 inch, now connect that line down to your shoulder slope point. Then connect it out in this manner so that you can form the chest line. Once you're done doing that, it's time for us to insert our dart. So now divide your nipple to nipple measurement by 2. Mine is 8 inches, so I'm going to be folding my tape into 2, and that will be giving me 4 inches. So I'm going to be marking that 4 inches from the center front to wherever the 4 is going to stop. So mark that on the bust point, on your waist point, and also move it down to your hip point and then mark that there. Now once you're done, connect these lines together using your ruler. Now the next thing you're going to do now is for you to come down from the bust point by 2 inches. All right, this way that is going to start. Also from your waistline, go down by 4 inches. Then mark that down. That is where that is going to stop. Now come over to where you have your waistline. Now in between these lines, now mark 1 inch on either side of the line. Okay. Now this is what we're going to be using to connect the lines together, which will now form the darts for both our top and also the down part. So the 2 inches that we just took in here at this point, now we're going to replace it at the side. So just go out from the side and mark 2 inches outwards and then connect the lines together from your bust point down to the hip point, okay, hitting that new 2 inch mark. Then you can go ahead and clean the other line out. So once we hold this in, you notice that this part is going to come back to the original position. All right, yeah, so that's just it. So the next thing for you to do is this. Place your tape on the shoulder slope line. Okay, now fold it over like this. Find the midpoint at this point. Now since mine was 8 inches here, my own midpoint is going to be at 4. So at that 4 inches now, I'm going to be coming in by half an inch. Now take your ruler and then connect the line from the shoulder slope down to that particular half inch there. Now the next thing you're going to do is to try to connect that line together. Now at this point now, you're going to be marking in 1.5 inches at this point. Now this is where the slope is supposed to land. Okay, sorry, the curve is supposed to land. Now try using your pencil like a freehand, or if you have the curve set, go ahead and then use your curve set and then draw this curve and make sure it sits on that particular line. Okay, that's the only way you can do it and to come out perfectly fine. Now go ahead and then connect the other parts also down, which will now serve as the back armhole. Okay, so now once that is done, I ended up pushing this for a while, and then I also attached an extra paper down because we're going to be drafting the trouser parts of this. And also, mind you, we also had our hip measurements from the body, like the main body parts. So that's what we're still going to be using. So now place your tape again from your shoulder down to your hip point. So now from that hip point now down to where you have your knee, just mark out your measurement there. So from my hip to my knee measurement, I had 42 inches. So that's what I'm marking out. And also do the same thing from that knee down to where you have your ankle. So for me, it's 58. That means the total full measurement from my shoulder down to where I'm going to be, the stuff is going to stop, that's on my ankle, is 58 inches. So now coming over to your hip line, I actually went ahead to use marker so that it can be very visible for you guys to see. So during the course of the measurement, I didn't really take note that it wasn't really that obvious, so I had to use my marker instead. So now you're going to be marking out our crouch measurement. So divide your crouch measurement into 2, and then for me it's 13 inches. So that's what I'm marking out now. So the markings are going to start from your waist down to wherever it is going to stop. Definitely it's going to pass your hip point. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is this. So coming down to your hip point, remember the measurement that we took here. Now you're going to transfer these measurements to this point here on your crouch line. Now after that point, now you're going to add 4 inches in front and also mark it out. So if you're someone that has a bigger butt, you can add more than that. Okay, it all depends on you. You can always add more to that part, but not too much, so they will not end up looking loose under your, like in between your legs. So now coming down to your knee region, you have to divide your knee measurement by 2 and also your ankle measurement by 2 and also mark it out just like what I've done before. So now coming down to where we are going to be drawing now the crouch curve. Connect these lines that you just finished, the point you just finished marking out now, both on the crouch and also on the hip line up to where you have your waistline. Now at this point now you're going to be coming in by 1 inch. So that 1 inch now is going to help you when you're trying to draw this curve to form the crouch line. Now using your free hand, connect from the crouch line down to where you have your knee point. So right now at this point now, I didn't want to make use of a ruler because my laps are not actually straight, so I just had to use a little bit of curve. So if you have a curve set, just go ahead and then use it, just a little bit of curve at that area, and then take it down to your ankle. So now you're going to be adding 1 inch seam allowance all around it. So now I'm going ahead to make sure I've used my marker to make it very bold for you guys to see. So now on the waistline, you're going to be going up by 1 inch, and also below it, you're going to also mark 1 inch. This is because the waistline is going to have a joining, okay, like a band kind of. So this is the area or the parts that we are going to be cutting out. The parts I'm actually marking out like this. So once this is done, we're going to be cutting out this particular segment. But before that, it's best for us to know that this is the front part of this trouser, while this other part is the side. Okay, so right now I'm just going to go ahead and then cut them out. Don't mind this little box thing I drew out here. I was thinking I was going to, replace the 2 inches that we took out at the other part, but then just noticing that it's actually going to be useless. So I'm just going to end up still cutting that part out. So just ignore it, as I'm not explaining what that thing was. So just follow how I'm going to be cutting this out. Okay, so this is just it. So right now, this is me cutting out the trouser part of it, and yeah, just follow how I'm doing this and then cut it out on your own paper too. Now this is the waist area, waist region. So remember that we had this dart here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold the paper over in this manner, and then I'm also going to use my tape, my paper tape, to close off that dart because we don't want to have any darts there. So now on the trouser area, now there's this thing I want to show you guys. So now after cutting every other part out on the fabric, on the trouser area, the back, because we're still going to be using the same pieces to cut out the back. So on the waistline, towards where we have the crowd line, go up here by 2 inches or 1.5 inch. I actually use 1.5 inches in this video. So I'm going to be connecting these 1.5 inches dots down to the side. All right. So this is just to avoid the back trying to pull down when you are sitting. Okay. So that's going to really help to replace that lapses at the back. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so up next is to cut out the front piece. That is the top part, all right? So I want to explain something to you guys here, because on the pattern I actually made a mistake. So I don't want you guys to make the same mistake. So if you've made an outfit, you understand what the mistake is at this point. Okay, so let's just go ahead. So right now I'm just trying to cut this out. But then when I get to this point, I now noticed something. So right now I'm going to take this off first and then cut out this on the back, as in cut out the back pattern first of all before cutting out the front part. All right, so now this is it. This is the mistake. We didn't draw out the neckline for the back. So bringing in my tape, I'm going to be measuring 1 inch downwards, and then I'm going to be connecting that to the shoulder point. And after I'm done doing that, I am definitely very free to cut this out. So this will now stand in for the back neckline. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and then cut out every other part. Now the armhole too that was here was for the back, not for the front. So now that I'm done cutting out everything for the front and also the back, I'm also bringing this back again to the front. So be sure to open up your 2 inches line when you want to bring it back to the front, so we can include our button area. So now notice how I'm cutting out the armhole. I'm cutting out the back armhole altogether. So originally is the front armhole that we are literally cutting now, all right, not only the back armhole. So just go ahead and then cut out the neckline, and yeah, that's it. So now I'm coming down to the front. After you must have finished cutting all these ones out, coming down to the front, we have to slit it open. So remember, the back did not have a slit, and we had to fold in this 2 inches part while cutting the back. So take note, because we're using the same pattern to cut the both parts. So just notch at that area so that you can always know where your dart was. So now fold the fabric into 4 like this, and then place the waistband over and then cut that out. And also remember to cut out 2 of this, right? So yeah, that's just it. So what I'm going to be doing next is just to go ahead and then fold the fabric over again like this into 4, because we're going to be cutting out the sleeve. So I'm using my former sleeve pattern. I'm going to be making a tutorial on how to do this. I'm going to be posting it on this channel for you guys, all right? So I didn't want to make the video too long. That's why I had to do this. So the measurement for the sleeve is actually 10 inches, all right? So right now, notice I'm not really cutting directly where I folded it. I left like 1.5 inches because I want to have that part that I have to fold over, because I'm having a double stitch on it. So that's it for this video, guys. Please subscribe to my channel and then share this video, turn on your post notification bell. Please do not miss the next episode of this video that is coming up, which is going to be the sewing process. Very important. You really actually love it. So please subscribe to my channel and then share this video to your friends. Until next time, bye guys.